Hello Wolfpack, we're here. We're analysing Wanchain. We've got an update. We've done a video on Wanchain before about a month ago, and we're analysing it again because there's new price action happening, and I want to explain the FA a little bit better, the fundamentals, because I don't think I did it full justice last time. But if we just look at the weekly chart, for those of you who haven't seen Wanchain before, it's definitely a hidden gem. We've got this massive drop down from the 2017 or 2018 all-time high of around 98%. Always actually up to 99%. So, obviously an insane drop down that, a lot of people would have hated on Wanchain because of. We saw a range for, 3 years just underneath a critical price point here at around 67 cents or somewhere around there, 60 cents. And during that time, everyone would have been calling Wanchain a dead coin, calling Wanchain, the team at Wanglu Tech scammers, and all that kind of stuff. When in reality, guys, that's probably the best time to buy Wanchain, because if we look here and we look at the roadmap of what was actually being done during this time, we can see that, year by year during this bear market, we had constant upgrades to the Wanchain ecosystem. Just recently in last September, seeing Wanchain 5.0 come out, which was basically the start of Wanchain's massive expansion on their network, this year and at the end of last year. That has led me to become so bullish on the coin. And realistically, what you want to be looking for in the market, guys, is coins that are down heavily on their price, but still not giving up on the FA, the fundamentals, and still releasing new technology, new partnerships, and, keep progressing. Because at the end of the day, in a bear market, the price doesn't matter. Every single chart, 99% of charts are going to look terrible in a bear market, and 99% of charts are going to have haters, of the coin, because people lost money on the coin, not because the fundamentals are bad. It's completely biased, but that's just how it works. So if we come back to the TO later, we'll look at the FA quickly, the fundamentals, because at the end of the day, the fundamentals are the thing that I'm most bullish about on Wanchain. So without getting too deep into it, taking up too much time, we can see that Wanchain is basically a decentralized network, and basically they aim to be, as seen here, Wanchain's vision is to create the ultimate decentralized banking solution. Now, to break it down very fundamentally, Wanchain sees a problem with, the current financial system in both centralized banking and also in cryptocurrency blockchains, because for those of you guys who don't know, basically the way networks work, so Bitcoin and Ethereum, right, they're very separate blockchains, just in the same way that, two foreign banks would be very separate from each other. Moving money between the blockchains or moving money between the banks is very difficult, very expensive, and it takes a lot of time. Wanchain kind of aims to be, they call it interoperability, where basically they are essentially the service that is used to easily connect, or what they like to say is build bridges between these blockchains or these banks. And, that's essentially where Wanchain's main use case lies. Its ability to build bridges, its ability to connect different areas that previously weren't connected or were very difficult to maintain the connection in terms of cost and time. So obviously a massive use case there for Wanchain. Just recently, coming off of that point, they actually developed the first ever decentralized Bitcoin to Ethereum direct bridge. So this is a bridge where you can directly transfer between Bitcoin and Ethereum, which didn't actually exist before, without going into fiat or without going into, wrapped tokens or something like that. So obviously a massive step, not only for Wanchain, but also for cryptocurrency as a whole, because in order for cryptocurrency to become, massively adopted, we're going to need this, easy usage, and, direct, nothing too complicated, because the everyday person doesn't want to have to go through 3 different protocols to transfer their money. They want to do it in 1 second snap, just like a bank. Otherwise, they're going to be preferring the government monetary policy, and, the central banking system. So if we look at Wanchain, we look at what's been happening recently with the technology on the network. We can see that not only has Wanchain been progressing, and we'll look into that later in a few minutes here, but we've also seen that there's a lot of upgrades to the Wanchain network, a lot of new dApps on the Wanchain network, such as Wanswap. Wanswap is run on the Wanchain network, and essentially they focus on, basically, if you know anything about a decentralized exchange or DEX, a DEX, like PancakeSwap, Uniswap, that's basically what Wanchain Wanswap is. Essentially, you can swap between different tokens, and you can also farm in the farming area here, supplying liquidity and getting interest off of that. There's also things like the Hive, where you can, delegate your WASP and WAN and earn back WASP or WAN per week. And there's also voting systems in which you can vote with your WASP. So essentially, yes, it's very good to have this kind of thing on the network. And at the end of the day, look, if we come back to the main point, Wanchain aims to be kind of the one major decentralized interoperable play in the crypto market. So having all of these things, having all of these, upgrades to their network, these separate dApps to their network, is great for Wanchain. And we've got another one here, which is Zookeeper, and this is more of a, so we had the DEX play with Wanchain, now we have the NFT play, and this is like a gamified NFT farming, essentially, service, something like that, where you can, delegate your Wanchain and WASP and other assets here. You've got USDT, you've got, Finexus, you've got, different kind of, and Zookeeper tokens as well, and also earn interest on that. And also, with the interest earned with the Zookeeper tokens, you can go over to the shop here and buy chests in which you will be buying NFTs, essentially, which you can use to boost your farming rewards. So, obviously very interesting there, quite of a fun play here, but it's good to have, that reach into other sectors. We've got the decentralized exchange, we've got the NFT play, and we've got just Wanchain by itself as a base token interoperability play. So we've also got the big news here for Wanchain that's come out recently, is the State Grid Corporation of China. And basically what the State Grid Corporation of China is it's essentially a state-owned electric utility company in China, so the biggest one in China, and essentially the second or third largest company in terms of revenue per year in the world. So it's, in the top 5 in the Fortune 500, it's got, I think, we can see it right here, actually, 1.5 million employees in 2019. It's got, 585 billion USD assets, total assets. So, massive company, without getting too much into it, massive company. And they're working with Wanchain. We can see that essentially what they're trying to do with Wanchain is, on the basis of these results, State Grid selected Wanchain's interoperability blockchain technology to build a company-wide interdepartmental cross-regional data management system. Working with Wanchain on, their key kind of play here, which is the interoperability and, connecting information and things like that. And that trial, as we can see here on a different news article we've got here that was released in March, is said to be started in September, which is next month. So Wanchain will be, beginning a trial, of its operation of the system with State Grid Corporation of China next month. So obviously a lot relies on that. It could be big, and it also could make or break Wanchain. All right, now we've got into the fundamentals, we've got into the FA. Let's get into the TA here. We can see Wanchain made its move up, from the bear market lows of around here 700-800% to its all-time high, not all-time high, but local high in this bull run of $2.70. We formed a double top at $2.70 and started heading down here massively on Wanchain as Bitcoin failed in the May capitulation. We moved down roughly 83%. From that point, if we zoom up here, we formed a lovely little double bottom here on Wanchain, in which we will manage to pick up Wanchain in our Telegram group. We released a trading signal, and from that trading signal, around the bottom of this region, I think it was around 44 cents, we came up here and we reached a profit maximum of 120%. But we have not closed our trade on Wanchain. We're continuing to hold Wanchain. It's definitely a longer term play, at least until the end of this bull market. But if you want more trading signals like that, I've done that with dozens of coins so far this bull run. Go down to the Telegram. The link is in the description, and you can join up there with free trading signals. But regardless of that, we've come down. We've had a recent Bitcoin correction from around 48k to around 44k. We've come down all the way down about 21% on Wanchain, and you can see we've clearly, let's bring that back, retested this resistance block, which is still a resistance block. We're still naming it as resistance. We're testing it, and we're trying to flip it for support right now, which looks like it's succeeding. So we could actually go ahead and turn this green here for support. So we can see that would be a great buying range if you haven't got Wanchain already within this support block, or maybe on the top here. But honestly, any of these prices in comparison to its all-time high are great. So if we bring up some of these indicators here, we can see Wanchain has flipped the Gaussian channel. It's turned green just recently. We've got the bull market support band in which we're currently testing. As you can see, before that disappeared here, we have a retest in which we were ejected just recently yesterday. Once we get apart that bull market support band at around $1.07, we can be pretty clear that Wanchain is going to make new local highs here within the coming weeks or months. If we take away that bull market support band, we can bring up the 200 SMA and the 50 SMA. We've flipped the 50 SMA for support pretty clearly over a series of daily closes, retesting it for support, and we've come back up. We've rised above it here, and the next step around the same region of the bull market support band, if we bring that back up, will be the 200-day SMA just above $1. Now, as for next steps for Wanchain, we can zoom out a little bit here and we can see that we have a few, critical resistance zones before the local high. We have the $1 resistance, which will actually be the heaviest resistance zone. If we bring back up the 200-day SMA and the bull market support band, we can see that both of these, so we've got the 20-week SMA on top here of the bull market support band and the 200-day SMA, both lining up quite nicely with the $1 resistance zone. Which in itself is a massive resistance zone because $1 is obviously a massive psychological resistance. But once we get above $1, people would rather buy a coin at $1 than they would at 99 cents. And that's just, fundamental psychology that, somehow works its way into the market here. So $1 is the next step for Wanchain, 100%. Once we get above $1, we can be pretty confident here that we're going to be making new local highs within the coming weeks or months. If we zoom out, we go to the Bitcoin pair, so we'll look at the USD pair in a second, but we've got the Bitcoin pair on Wanchain on the weekly chart, and let's label out a few of these resistance zones here, because there's not much you can say about it, when it's flatlined like this, but we can make some observations. We've got a resistance zone here up at 90,000 sats, we've got a resistance zone here at around 62,000 sats, we've got a resistance zone here at around 38,000 sats, we've got a resistance zone here at 19,000 or 20,000 sats. We've got a resistance zone here at 11,000 sats and last one at 4,000 sats. Now, what we can observe about this charting here, if we actually move this up to all-time highs, what we can observe is that, yes, there's not a lot of structure. Yes, it doesn't look very bullish, but as Bitcoin dominance starts to drop, we can see that, the gains are only going to get exponential for Wanchain. I mean, between the first two resistance zones, we've got a 140% gain. All right. Between the second two, we've got a 72% gain. Between the third and the fourth, we've got an 87% gain. Between the fourth and the fifth, we've got a 63% gain. And then between the last two ones, we've got a 70% gain. So each of these resistance zones are, heavily divided, which means that the moves are not just going to be gradual on Wanchain. They're not going to be struggling and bogged down. They're going to be big spikes up, 70, 80%, 100% to next resistance zones, because we haven't had much time around these, around these high prices to actually consolidate firm resistance zones. So once Wanchain gets moving, it's going to move very quickly and it's going to move very high. And we can say the same thing about the USD chart. We can bring up some resistance if we want to here. It's just going to look very similar. We can bring up some resistance around $8.47. We've got the all-time high at around $10.50. We've got a resistance zone here at around $4.84. We've got a resistance zone here at around $2.60, in which we made this double top. And then obviously we've got resistance zones that we've recently talked about. As you can see, once we get past this local high, the resistance zones are few and far between. That just goes back to what I was saying. Once we get moving, we're going to be making massive moves to the all-time high. And once we get to this all-time high, we're going to be making even bigger moves once we break above it. Because people would rather buy a coin when it's going parabolic rather than when it's on the ground. That's just how investing psychology works in the general market. So we can also see here, we've just brought up one indicator because it's the most relevant, a bullish MACD cross coming in on Wanchain within the next few weeks, possibly 3 or 4 weeks, maybe even 2, that will likely trigger this explosion upwards, in my opinion. We haven't seen a proper bullish MACD cross on Wanchain. As we can see, the MACD chart only started here, way down here in around late 2018, and we haven't actually seen, massive crosses besides this bearish cross, which drove down the price 84%, as you just saw. So what do you think is going to happen when this MACD cross comes along? Well, I know what's going to happen. I think Wanchain is going to be going to new all-time highs within a couple of months or a few months here. Where do I think Wanchain will go? I've said multiple times in the past, and I've said it in my old analysis video. I think Wanchain could go anywhere from $50 to $100 USD in this bull market. And, if it doesn't do that this bull market, I've got no doubt in my mind that it will be doing it within the next few years, because Wanchain, in my opinion, is a long-term hold. Now, I think that the all-time high here on Wanchain, not financial advice, obviously this is just my own opinion, is basically guaranteed. If Wanchain can pick up the marketing, if Wanchain can get the attention it deserves, which it's doing through a recent partnership, if we type up BitBoy Crypto Wanchain here, BitBoy Crypto Wanchain, BitBoy Crypto and Wanchain have a partnership going on in which BitBoy Crypto is promoting Wanchain to his viewers. They've recently had an AMA with the Wanchain community, so we're getting that marketing, we're getting that state incorporation of China coming in. The only thing that I can see that will, potentially be a massive threat to Wanchain is its ability to actually capture the audience's attention. If we can't get the attention we deserve, because I've got no doubts at all with the fundamentals. I think the fundamentals are perfect. I think it's top 25 worthy 100%, but I think that the marketing, it's been tough. I mean, we got that BitBoy Crypto partnership, we got the news of State Grid, and we only pumped up, around 700, 800%, which is around what most altcoins did in this bull market. But as I said, once we get moving here on Wanchain, once people start looking at it, I think we're basically good to go. So that's been my Wanchain analysis, guys. One of my favorite coins in terms of fundamentals coming into this bull market, the second wave of this bull market. I hope you've enjoyed. Make sure to check out the Telegram group. Make sure to follow me on Twitter, etc., all of that stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.